TECNTV.com.
TECNTV.com.
All right, so you are welcome to another wonderful edition of Global Impact on TECNTV.com. I really love TECN. It's a great station. It's actually the best 24-hour online TV station. And I tell you, check it out and see. And we are conservative Christians. So we come to you from a conservative Christian perspective. Isn't it incredible? We'll load you with all great good stuff. On every show, you will have a great inspiration and impact. So we thank you, appreciate you for your viewership. Thank you for being there for us. And those of you who pray for us, we appreciate it. Those who take your time to talk with us and to appreciate what we are doing. And those who support us, those who advertise on our shows, we really just appreciate you. We want to tell you that you guys are the ones making it happen. Thank you so much. God bless you. Today is another great day, and we are still going back on the show looking at the things that we've been talking about this week, which is, setting ourselves up towards a prosperous society. When society is established by reflection and choice, it is always set up for prosperity, that it may prosper and that its citizens may enjoy good health and good life. However, when a society is set up by tyranny and by force or by accident, then there is no goal actually. The goal is tyranny. The goal is that the strong dominate over the weak. And so it is really incredible for us to look at life from that perspective, and not just that, but because that's how God created the world. God wanted us to live our lives and be happy. He created the earth and gave it to Adam, put Adam there in the Garden of Eden, and he said to him, enjoy everything that I've created, dominate over all creation, the fish in the sea, the birds in the air, and the wild animal that moves around the surface of the earth. And all of this creation will be to your own advantage. What a great God. Adam was endowed with great wisdom and great understanding. And God took a fraction of his intelligence and wisdom and put it inside Adam, enough to make Adam the greatest thing that has ever existed. And hey, it wasn't just Adam. Adam passed it down to us. We are so endowed. We are so blessed. And that is why we can mind the earth. We can exploit the earth, exploit creation, the seas, the forests, the earth, and the mineral resources developed in the earth, and the air, and the wind, and the rain, and everything that is on earth. And we just mine it. We just exploit it and get the best out of everything, because it's a gift of God to man. God bless you. Thank you so very much for coming on the show tonight. So yesterday we took a good time, watch some PragerU videos, as we will today. It is incredible what those videos do. You watch it and you just want to keep watching it, and it's really amazing stuff right in there. We are blessed, and if you are a Christian, you are actually blessed. And in this time and at any time on earth, you are at the forefront of every kind of advancement. You are the forefront of development. You are the forefront of evolution. You are the forefront of every good thing that has ever happened. So, because God made us the light of the world. He made us the salt of the earth. He made us to preserve the earth. He made us to develop the earth. And he made us to exploit the blessings that he has buried in the earth. So tonight, we're going to watch another video, and then we come back and have a look at the points. And I always encourage you to come along with your jotter and a pen as I do, and really take some good notes. It's really important. These things are great life endowments, And I thank God for PragerU and for all the people who donate to PragerU, and all the speakers and all the teachers and all the people who do the presentation. It is incredible what you are doing. Tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people are watching PragerU video, tens of millions every day, and their lives are getting restored. I remember in 2020, during the pre-election, the riots and all the things that were going on, people's eyes were uncovered. People's eyes were opening. More and more people were sharing their testimonies. I remember when the Walk Away campaign page was still on Facebook. It was incredible. It was an incredible force. You hear people's testimonies who were talking about people who transformed their lives by sharing their own personal experiences and holding on. People like Larry Elder, people like Dennis Prager, and Prager University, people like Candace Owens, and so many other people. You know, they were out there, you know, really sharing how their eyes got to see David Rubin. And many other people sharing their own stories, how they came to walk away from, you know, the plantation, walk away from the field, the dominating field, and walk into incredible understanding and liberty and freedom. And it was incredibly great. It was wonderful. I just enjoyed it. Every time I, you know, went to the Walk Away page, I was greatly inspired. I think there is a little of it out there on Facebook. Besides that, they also have a website, I think so. And so you could see great stories. Last year I had a show where I brought some videos from the Walk Away campaign. I think I need to do that again this year, because these things that people share, the testimonies, were just incredibly great. So thank you so much. All right, so we're going to go straight into the video today. We have two videos. We'll watch one in the first half of the show and then watch the other. We want to look at what creates wealth. What creates wealth? Society, one of the evidence of progress has been when man began to create wealth. And creating wealth is not just about materialism. Actually, creating wealth is about freeing yourself from poverty, from want and misery. You know, there was no time in human history that this was so explosive, like the creation of the United States and the adoption of the free market system, where people, the teachings, the Enlightenment, and people like John Locke and the great preachers, Whitfield, and so on and so forth, who preached to those who preached in the colonies, enlightening people. And people began to understand God, and people began to apply their understanding, you know, of God. What they were being taught, they began to see the light. That's why it was called the Enlightenment. Began to see the light and began to see how those teachings influenced their lives. And as they began to apply the teachings, they began to reason for themselves, and, you know, and people began to innovate. People began to look beyond themselves and find solutions to their personal problems, which eventually became societal problems, because the same problem that John was facing was the same problem that Peter was facing. And so as John tried to solve his problems, he ended up creating a solution to Peter's problem, and to Susan's problem, and to Ruby's problem, and to everybody's problem in society. And people began to reward John for finding a solution to a problem that was his, but not his alone, but was universal to everybody. And that's how capitalism, you know, just came into being. First of all, I'm going to watch this video. And I want you to carefully watch the video and take notes. Take notes. It's really incredible. This is Judge Gilder. Actually, Judge Gilder is the one who's going to be speaking. Judge Gilder is an economist, right? He's an economist. He is the founder of... He is the founder of Discovery Institute, you know. So I just really want you to listen and take some notes. You know, you will be blessed. You will.
Let me begin with what sounds like a very simple question. What is the most essential ingredient in wealth creation and economic growth? Almost everyone would answer money, or having a lot of natural resources. But the real answer is knowledge. It's easy to prove. What is the difference between us and a caveman? The only difference is that we know a lot more. Biologically, we're the same. The neurons in our brains are the same. The physical world is the same. But our lives are infinitely better. Why? Because of knowledge. You don't have to go back to the caveman to prove this point. You could go back 50 years. New knowledge, say the discovery of penicillin or new algorithms that lead to better search engines, always comes as a surprise. We call these surprises innovation because they are inherently unpredictable. New products burst on the scene seemingly out of nowhere. Suddenly, there's electric light or an automobile or an iPhone. Now, of course, these products didn't come from nowhere. They came from the synthesis of accumulated knowledge, which led to these innovations, these surprises. By definition, then, innovation can't be planned. It involves dislocation. The makers of buggy whips did not have a great future when Henry Ford introduced the first Model T, and it always points to the future. Innovation, new knowledge, leads to not only new products, but new companies and whole new industries. And innovation creates wealth, wealth that is ultimately distributed all through an economy. But here's how it works. More freedom, more knowledge, more innovation. And more innovation leads to dynamic economic growth. Less freedom, less knowledge, less innovation, less economic growth. So if freedom promotes knowledge and innovation, which leads to economic growth, why don't all people and governments embrace it? To understand that, we have to return to what I said earlier about innovation being a surprise, being unpredictable. This unpredictability makes many people uncomfortable. Their goal is to eliminate surprise. One finds this in all utopian visions, from communism to socialism, to the belief that through complex insurance packages, bankers could protect themselves from a catastrophic mortgage meltdown. In Europe, with its failing welfare states, and more in the U.S., we see this desire to eliminate surprise in the ever-expanding role played by government. Bigger bureaucracies, more rules, more regulations. Every new crisis, real or imagined, brings ever more laws. A corrupt energy conglomerate, Enron, implodes in 2001. A year later, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act is passed, adding thousands of new pages of regulations to the Federal Registry. In 2011, the 2,300-page Dodd-Frank Act is written in response to the 2008 financial crisis. It has since grown to more than 8,000 pages. Most of these new regulations simply impede freedom and therefore impede the growth and distribution of knowledge. They divert the entrepreneur's energy and resources away from innovation and toward compliance. They create uncertainty about the future, and they raise the barriers of entry for new entrepreneurs. Ironically, the ones who most benefit from all these regulations are big corporations and their teams of lawyers, lobbyists, and accountants. They're the only ones who have the resources to untangle the mess and survive in it. But this drift away from freedom can be reversed, and quickly. Within a matter of a few years, in fact. There are numerous recent examples in the United States during the Reagan administration, in Chile in the 1970s, in Eastern Europe after the fall of communism, in New Zealand and Israel in the 1980s, in China and India in the 1990s, in Canada in the first decade of the 21st century. Because it's an economy of mind, the future can change as fast as minds can change. Whenever intrusive government retreats, knowledge expands and new prosperity follows. The opportunity for dynamic growth exists not only in the United States, but all over the world, if we're only courageous enough and free enough to seize it. I'm George Gilder for Prager University.
Join Prager University, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for free at prageru.com.
Wow, so it's incredible. This video was made in 2014, and I have not watched it. I've never watched it. I'm so surprised, so much knowledge has been around. Can you imagine 2014? And this is 2022. That's 8 years ago, I believe. Where have I been? All this knowledge. Well, Dr. Giller is incredibly generous with his teaching and his knowledge, and breaks it down so simple for all of us to understand. Dr. George Gilder, right? So he makes it so incredibly understandable. I think you have to really, like someone said, you have to really be overeducated to be so to misunderstand these simple principles that have just been laid down. The first question he began with: what is the single most important factor in the creation of wealth? And many people, when he asked the question, I even thought money, and many people think it is money. If you want to create wealth, they think that the first thing that you need is money. However, shockingly, Dr. George said it is not money. What is needed foremost for the creation of wealth is knowledge. And he gave us this simple example which we can all relate to it. And his example is simple: the caveman and us. Biologically, the caveman and us is no way different, 100% the same. He has the same brain cells. He was just the same way we are. But the difference between us and the caveman, the caveman didn't have telephone, the caveman didn't have electricity, the caveman didn't have cars. He didn't have all the beautiful things that we have today that makes life so easy. It took a long time for the caveman to start fire. Today, you just need a gas. You don't even need anything, You can just start the stove in your kitchen with a switch, and then, it will be heating, and you will make your meal. In fact, food is prepared now and canned, so that anywhere you are, you can just open the can and eat. And the caveman did not have this. What is the difference? The difference between us and the caveman is knowledge. Through the caveman, of course, this knowledge goes back to the caveman as he began to explore and develop, and all his children and descendants right on to us have been passing knowledge after knowledge after knowledge from one generation to the other. And the knowledge has come to our time, and today we have amassed more knowledge in every way, more than 1 million times than the caveman. We have great understanding. We understand how a baby is developed in the womb. We understand how electricity works. We understand how the storms come. We understand how the wind moves. We understand light, the movement of light, the speed of light. We understand so many things. And all this understanding is as a result of knowledge that has been gathered over the age. And today you can see a lot of improvement in the way we live. The caveman lived in the dark, but we live in the light. You can just switch on the light in your house and just sleep in light. And, you can go anywhere. In fact, in our own day-to-day markets run 24 hours in many countries. You can go anywhere. Life is the same. Activities take place all night long, and you even don't know if it is night, because we have electricity now that brightens the darkness, and and that makes life really totally different for us. And a lot of things, for example, transportation. The caveman will have to walk and trek by foot to everywhere he was going to. And then came the horses. Man was able to tame the horse and travel by horse. And then people began to, and then technology came when bicycles were made, which you don't have to wait for the horses to give birth or buy a horse, but you can get a bicycle which is far cheaper than a horse, and you can ride it and go to distances without the bicycle complaining, without you feeding the bicycle. Of course, then bikes came in, and cars came in, and boats and canoes and ships and And man has really developed in different ways today, and traveling has become incredibly easy, incredibly easy. And you can take anything and see that knowledge has changed the way man has lived his life. So knowledge is basically, the key to wealth. However, we must have liberty, freedom, and the more we have freedom, the more we get educated, we get knowledge. Knowledge is the product of freedom. When we get free, we gather knowledge. We get knowledge. We get to know. We get to explore. And the more knowledge we get, the more we understand our environment, we understand our problems. We are able to create solutions. We are able to discover solutions. We research, we experiment, and we are able to create solutions to our problems. And these solutions end up becoming great inventions, innovations, and technologies, as man just keeps evolving and evolving. You can look at the book. Writing, how writing has evolved from writing on stones and caves and writing on trees. And man was able to, peel the skin of a tree and write on it, and refine it into paper, and then also and then printing. And the typewriter was invented, and the computer was invented, and the mobile phone is invented. And today you can write as fast as you can. In fact, recent technologies, you can actually just speak to your phone, and the phone will do the writing for you. Isn't that incredible? Man has so advanced in every way. Man has made great advancement. It is incredible. In fact, now with the auto-transcribe on your mobile phone and on some televisions, I can be speaking and you are listening to me, and then my words are being transcribed into text for you to read. Probably I pronounce a word in a way that it's not pronounced where you are. And that's incredible technology and progress that man has made. The more knowledge comes, the more innovation comes. And when innovation comes, profit follows it. People are able to invent things, and they are able to they are rewarded for their inventions. They are rewarded for their solutions, and they get wealthy. Society gets wealthy. We're able to afford more things than we could before, and we're able to live life easier than before. Before, if I'm going to walk from here to, let's say, 5 kilometers away from here, it could take me a very long time. But today, I can go 5 kilometers in a few minutes. I'm just driving or just taking a bicycle or a bike or whatever it is, and you can get there. And so we have incredibly saved time, and we have saved energy. We have saved ourselves, not exhaust ourselves, as innovation increases. It has created wealth. Those who innovate get wealthy, and those who market those innovative products get wealthy, and those who bring those products to the consumers become wealthy. Those who repair those innovations become wealthy. You can see that all avenues of wealth has been created in every way as a result of innovation. And when there is innovation, what happens? The economy grows. Unfortunately, we have people who don't believe in capitalism, and people who believe in socialism, who believe in communism and totalitarianism, who are trying to stifle knowledge. They're trying to limit knowledge. They're trying to control knowledge. They invade our schools, infiltrate our schools and bring in indoctrinations, bring in bad knowledge that does not inspire, that does not create innovation, and they speak evil of capitalism and try to, destroy what we believe in and what has made our world a better place. And, and that's incredibly what has happened. So really, and so you see governments also. Governments are not really fond of liberty. They don't like liberty because liberty does not serve them well. So they always bring in regulations, and regulation means more control, and more control means compliance, which means that you have to do someone's will rather than do what you feel in your heart that is right. They try to punish you for innovating, try to punish you for thinking, try to punish you for finding solution to problems. Incredible, the world we live in today. And what does that do? Uncertainty creates, compliance creates uncertainty. Control produces uncertainty. People become uncertain of the future as the economy is stifled and things go from bad to worse. And, and that's it. So this is an incredible video, and I hope that you really had great fun listening to it and enjoying it. I'll be right back after this.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Ken McClinton, the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, live for the nation's capital. I love this cat, the Exceptional Conservative Show cat, Jacob. We love you, and we want you to know we love the fact that you watch TECNTV.com. As chairman, founder, and president, we wish you much love and much affection. I love you. I love you.
Hey, this is Pastor Greg right here watching TECNTV.com live and enjoying. You should join me here on ChildrenGenerationRadio.com, and also my other favorite thing, ministering the gospel in India.
Hi, I'm Bob Record, and as you can see, I love hunting. And I also love watching TECNTV.com. Why don't you join me in doing that? But in the meantime, I'm headed back to the field. See you later.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Jones from Beyond the Lines. And when I'm not exploring Los Angeles, I am watching TECNTV.com. TECNTV.com. I love it.
I'm David McQuell. I'm the host of Global Impact on TECN. I'm a missionary in Abidjan, West Africa, working on establishing the largest history center. Whether I'm in the field or I'm working on history, I love TECN TV.
When I'm not making delicious cookies, I'm watching TECNTV.com.
Hi, I'm Randy. I love the golf.
And I love TECNTV.com.
right, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate you. This is David McQuell with Global Impact on TACNTV.com. Thank you so very much. We are looking at our responsibilities and our abilities towards a prosperous society. As children of God, we are placed on earth and have been blessed with wisdom. We've been blessed with grace and the ability of God. And so we can explore the blessings that God put on earth. Not just to explore them for fun, but to explore them so we can solve human problems, so we can solve our own problems, so we can be a great blessing to mankind. I was particularly impressed again reading, I think yesterday, when Abraham had his first encounter with God in Genesis chapter 12. And the Lord said to him, I will bless you and make you a blessing. And he says, all people on earth shall be blessed through you. You know, that's incredible. And that's the heart of God. That's the mind of God. Whatever it is that he has given you, the skill, the ability, the innovation, the wisdom, and the power of your mind is that you will do things and create things that will make this world a better place, that will make life easier for people, that will make people enjoy the blessing of God. And I tell you, whatever skill God has given to you, don't hide it. Take it out there. Use it and bless people with it. Of course, you'll get rewarded for it. But go out there and bless. It should be fun, blessing people with it. You know, it's really great fun. And, you know, so I really want to encourage you. We just looked at Dr. George Gilda, he was talking about what is the essential element that creates wealth. What creates wealth? What makes society a prosperous society? He gave us an example of the difference between us and the caveman. And the caveman had to, endure a lot. It takes a long time to get fire. And, but hey, in our own time, it is different. Why? Because it doesn't take you, it doesn't take more than a second to get light now and to get fire for whatever it is. It's incredible how far man has come. Development, productivity, increase have made man really prosperous, and man has advanced in every way. So we are going to, again also, let me say one thing else that he said. He said, knowledge is the key to creation of wealth. When you know how to do something, you can do it. And when you do it, it will solve not only your problem, but it will solve the problem of your neighbor. It will solve the problem of the people in your town. It will solve the problem of the people in your country, and also solve the problems of the people in the world. So knowledge is actually basically very important. Knowledge should be available. We should study knowledge. We should get knowledge. That's why, again, he talked about, government, how government does not like people to be free. Because if you are free, they can't control you. So in order to do that, they try to control knowledge. And in controlling knowledge, they create compliance. And when you comply, then you are uncertain of the future. However, more freedom brings more innovation, and he talks about more knowledge. And when there is knowledge, he said there will be surprises. You see new products coming out in the market every day, and it's incredible what people have been able to do. And when more knowledge comes, innovation comes, and innovation is what pops up the surprises of man doing great extraordinary stuff. And when there is innovation, the economy grows and everybody is really blessed. So let's look at the next video. It's equally a short video, just about 5 minutes, 27 seconds. He said the market will set you free. The market will set you free. The free market will set you free. And that's really powerful. Again, I'd like you to take your notebook, and take your pen and take down some notes. It's really going to save your life. I believe it. All right, so, hey, let's not waste any time. Let's go into the video.
Take a close look at this. Jonathan Haidt, the noted New York University psychologist, calls it the most important graph in the world. Why does he say that? Because he knows this graph reveals a simple, inescapable fact. There is no substitute for free market capitalism as a promoter of human prosperity. Let it be noted that Haidt is no one's idea of a conservative. But when hard evidence stares him in the face, he's not going to look away. The graph is based on the research conducted by the late British economist Angus Maddison. The numbers along the x-axis are years, 2,000 of them. The number on the y-axis are dollars, all of them, divided by the number of people on the planet. It's what's called GDP per capita, which is the world's economic output divided by its population. GDP is considered the best measurement of a country's standard of living, and in this case, the world's standard of living. Often when I show this graph to students, I get this comment: that's not capitalism, it's just the impact of the Industrial Revolution. So I show them another chart by the Madison Project. This one breaks the GDP hockey stick into regions. As you can see, there are a number of hockey sticks, but note that they don't rise at the same time. The United States surged first. Why? Well, in a very fortuitous coincidence, the year 1776 witnessed both the signing of our Declaration of Independence and the publication of a book called The Wealth of Nations by the Scottish economist and philosopher Adam Smith. In his book, Smith explained how to create a modern free market capitalist economy and the benefits of doing so. America's wise founders took Smith's principles to heart, and within a mere 100 years, the blink of an eye historically, capitalism turned the United States from 13 backwoods colonies into the world's largest economy, and it's held that position ever since. Western Europe shot up as well, but later. It rose steadily during the Industrial Revolution and then experienced a sharp rise after World War II when, between the end of the war and the mid-1960s, it fully embraced the free market. Japan too shot up after World War II, surpassing Western Europe for the first time, after the U.S. helped the Japanese transition to a democracy and a free market capitalist economy. Eastern Europe took off after it was released from the Soviet Union and socialism in 1991. China did likewise after the Chinese moved away from strict socialism and implemented some limited free market policies. One can only imagine where China would be now if its leaders had fully unleashed the forces of the free market. Yes, during this period of economic expansion, the wealthy got wealthier. That always happens when new wealth is created. But the middle class and the poor also greatly benefited. Here's another telling chart. This one is from the World Bank. In 1820, 94% of people lived in extreme poverty. Thanks to capitalism, by 2015, that number declined to 9.6%. Single digits for the first time in human history. Now, it's still too many, but if we're going to reduce the number even more, we need to understand what caused the decline. Free market capitalism. If we combine the Angus Maddison hockey stick chart and the World Bank data on extreme poverty, what we get is something quite amazing. Unprecedented global prosperity and an unprecedented decline in poverty across the globe over the past 200 years. That's capitalism in a nutshell. One more chart. Johan Norberg, a Swedish economic historian, shows us how well ordinary people do when they work in a free market economy. Since 1990, hunger, poverty, illiteracy, and child mortality have all declined significantly with the decline of socialism. This all happened while we added 2 billion more people to the world. Far more people, far less poverty, better health outcomes, fewer babies dying. That's what economic freedom, capitalism can do. President John Kennedy, a Democrat, said it best. While making his case for significant tax cuts in 1963, he said a rising tide lifts all boats. Kennedy didn't believe that the poor only get richer when the rich get poorer. He believed everyone could get richer with economic growth. History has shown that he was right. This whole capitalism versus socialism debate is backwards. It's not those who advocate for free market capitalism who need to justify their actions. Rather, it's those advocating for socialism or any form of it who have a lot of explaining to do. I'm Andy Puzder for Prager University.
This video was made possible by a generous donation from the Jaquish and Kenninger Foundation.
Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Thank you, Professor. This is incredible. This is sobering, actually. This is really, really incredibly sobering. We'll take a break and then come back and we will look at, these great facts that this man brought forward to our knowledge now. So I'll be right back, after this break, shortly.
Dreams are potential seeds. They need someone to believe in them. They need someone to finance them. And they need someone to embrace them. Partner today with the World Mission Center, Abidjan, the Ivory Coast, and help us win Africa for Christ.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.
What happened to the church? To the living, powerful, transformative, nation-shaking Christianity?
What they're trying to do is completely demolish Western civilization and then to rebuild it in a just society.
How do you break down American Christianity?
I think the problem today in our culture is many of our words have been co-opted and stolen and dumbed down and reversed.
Social justice is sold as something that it isn't. Critical race theory is sold as something that it isn't.
Whiteness has caused blindness of heart. Whiteness has caused blindness of heart.
When you preach victimization, it always leads to vengeance and vice. Us against them, me against you. I want my pound of flesh.
American churches today are where the universities were 10 years ago. Pretty heavily Marxist. They're not quite there yet, but they're well on the way. Many of the seminaries and Bible colleges are definitely already there.
That message that they're going out and taking the world is not, you need to repent of your sin, receive Christ. Instead, the message that you actually have is they are under the weight of racism or sexism or homophobia, and then we need to unify them together.
I'm gay, I'm 29, I'm a youth pastor in New Jersey.
I'm straight, and I'm also a youth pastor in New Jersey.
We're planning on sharing life together for the rest of our lives, which we're not totally sure what that looks like. Obviously, Nick is straight, and he does plan on getting married. When he has a wife one day, she'll make those decisions with us.
The future damage of what we're doing now is just going to be enormous.
The entire fabric of family, personal wealth, private property, all those things are out the door. And everything is the state. They believe the state is God.
They don't define justice the same way as the scripture.
Oh, no. It's going to be an equality, all right. And it's going to be a totalitarian Marxist justice.
All right, welcome back. Great to have you back again on this last segment of the show. This is David McQuell, and you are watching Global Impact on TECNTV.com. We'd like to hear from you, please. And if you can drop us a note on our email, we would really love to. What do you think about what we do? What do you think about how we do it? What do you think we can do to improve it? Is there anything we've said you don't agree with, or you are displeased, or whatever it is? We are really we enjoy hearing from people who are watching us because it makes us better. So tonight, our email is scrolling down the bottom of the page. You can drop us a mail. We really, really love it. We appreciate you. Thank you so very much for being there for us. Always. Thank you. We appreciate you so very much. Yeah. So again, we go back to Dr. Andy Potzer on his last teaching, last short video, 5 minutes video. The market will set you free. That's the title of the video. So he talked about, first of all, he presented a graph that was presented by Jonathan Haidt, who is really not a conservative, who is not someone who believes in the conservative movement. You know, you can't accuse him of being that. He said, he's a professor of psychology in New York University. He said, this is the most important graph in the world. And in this graph, let me see if I can project that graph again, you know, on the screen. You can see it there. That is the most important graph in the world. And you can see it in the graph. Looks something like, you know, just nonsense, you know. Just the orange line goes down at the bottom of just a little above zero, up right to 1800, and then it shot up, you know, straight, you know. What does this mean? If you look at the baseline, you see numbers 1, 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1400, 1600, 1800, and 2000. Well, that is years. These are years, you know, from from the, you know, AD 1. It is the GDP per capita graph, which means that the population of the world, you know, kind of, you know, dividing all the income, the output of mankind to the number of the population, and that is what you get. You can see that at 8200, it was like almost zero, right up to 1200 and 1600. And then just at 1800, everything changed. The GDP shot up, went up straight. What happened? He explained it. It was the period of the founding of the United States, when the founders, published the Declaration of Independence, and to the next 2 years when they wrote the Constitution. It is that at that time that, you know, they began to apply a lot of knowledge by people like Adam Smith, who wrote a book. Adam Smith wrote a book. If you look at the book, let me see again if we can look at the book. So, you know, let me quickly see if we can get that graph by Adam Smith.